I really think everyone's empathic, but I think we're at different levels of awareness and actualization. So I think that the benefit is when you are aware that you're empathic, you're becoming emotionally sensitive, which means you can develop an ability to be compassionate for other people's experiences. You can become aware that we're all on a journey growing and evolving. You can develop patience and empathy and forgiveness. And you can start to realize that all the emotional experiences that you've gone through, other people are processing. It's as if we're all having the same experiences, but in different orders. So we're all like a deck of cards shuffled in a different order of experiences. And I think when you're sensitive, you begin living a life from a space of unity consciousness. So it's not just the decisions I make that are good for me as an individual, but what is good for also the world I'm a part of, the community I'm shaping. And I personally always make decisions with the thought of how does this affect my family? And really, how does this affect the world? I often think of it when I make decisions as, and I think a lot of us as we become empathic start to really think about, is the decision I'm making for myself what I would want to make for everyone's body around me? We start to live as leaders of this expanding, awakening consciousness of the world. So I think, becoming empathic or aware that you're an empathic being is a fundamental building block in the awakening of consciousness, because, we're living on a planet that is really moving from self-realization of the mind to self-realization of the heart. So we're all in a very interesting way becoming emotionally intelligent, and we become aware that everyone has had traumas and everyone has wounding, and it really informs our ability to connect with beings of any culture and any country and continent. The downfall could be, and this is where it gets interesting, is if we don't know that everyone is empathic or everyone is bound to realize their empathy. And this might not be the answer I would have given a couple of years ago, but something that's really interesting right now is that being empathic, when we don't realize everyone's empathic and going to realize that, can be an interesting way of developing a subtle degree of specialness. And it's where the spiritual ego can really lurk in a very unsuspecting way. So when it becomes my sensitivities and everyone around me has to kind of adjust their behavior for my sensitivities, it becomes a very interesting co-opting of ego. And I think that when I say specialness, we're all unique, we're all individuals, we're all beautiful, we all have gifts to contribute. But specialness is when I believe that based on the uniqueness of my experience, I deserve special treatment. And there can be this time where people who are empathic can think that that makes them worthy of special treatment. And if we grow up feeling inferior, it's very common to then develop a sense of superiority. And so I think it's very important as empathic beings when we remember, I'm having a unique experience. I'm having a unique experience of feeling other people's energy. But when it becomes that egoic specialness, it's everyone needs to cower to my sensitivities, or I'm afraid other people's energies are getting on mine. And then we start judging people for their energies, or, we start doing the same things we do in any ego structure, but with spiritual wallpaper and spiritual ideas. And so I think if we can actually humble ourselves and say, everyone's empathic, and not make it an opportunity to lurk in some degree of specialness, and realize that superiority will never heal the wounds of inferiority, and really humble ourselves to say, I'm going to embrace my empathy so I make it safer for the world to be okay with how empathic it is. And then we unite the world, we integrate our ego, and we allow ourselves to be empathic, but humble and grounded at the same time. And I think it's a very key thing a lot of spiritual beings are working through at this time.